So as I've mentioned before, in terms of ADA compliance is everybody's responsibility. I've kind of worked to put together an accessibility compliance or accessibility management team, where you'd have your designated responsible employee or your CEO, and then each of the members that make up that team and what their role is. So you would have the ADA coordinator that serves as managing the daily ADA compliance. Certainly with the completion of a transition plan, you would have somebody from planning or design or engineering that would work to prioritize and implement accessibility improvements that were identified in the transition plan. Definitely you need to have somebody from operations, maintenance, or public works that is working to make ADA improvements through routine maintenance and making sure that our facilities are accessible on a daily basis. Definitely representation from programs and services to make sure that we're providing reasonable modifications, auxiliary aids and services, and in the most integrated setting. Somebody from marketing and communication to make sure that we're getting the word out about our program, services, and activities being accessible, making sure that everything that we're doing is communicated effectively to people with disabilities, that we're providing those auxiliary aids and services. Definitely purchasing, having representation there to make sure that any new products or services that we buy or any new contracts that we go into comply with the ADA. You know, I have a number of facilities that have contracts with vending machine companies, and one by one those vending machine companies are changing out the coin insert panels to be able to take dollar bills and credit cards and other forms of currency like Apple Pay. Well, in many of those situations, the retrofit for the existing control panels actually ends up being too high and not compliant to the ADA accessibility standards. And so what was accessible vending machine yesterday, when they come in and retrofit it, is no longer accessible. So making sure that purchasing is involved in that type of process, and that you have language in your contracts to say that they can't go back and make any type of retrofits without ensuring that it's compliant with the accessibility standards, is really important. And I'm going to just echo that if you do have questions, we're going to come up on a break in a couple of minutes here, but just to cover the other couple of roles there on the accessibility management team, definitely information technology, especially if you have a website out there, if you have kiosks that are in use, if you have social media apps, making sure that those team members are trained and part of the compliance team. Human resources, finance, definitely risk management, and if you have a legal department or representative, making sure that they're involved as well. So that accessibility management team, if you're starting out, just newly putting together your self-evaluation and transition plan, making sure that they're meeting at least on a quarterly basis to start the implementation process, that they're getting updates from each of those units on a regular basis. They should be guiding your ADA policy development, and there should be a liaison with the disability advocacy groups in your community. You can put together an accessibility management charter. So for example, this is kind of a draft charter from Minneapolis Park and Recreation Board that they've decided these are who the team members are, and this is going to be the period that they serve on the accessibility management team, and to make sure that there's always representation from those key departments there. So I would recommend if you can more definitively put together a purpose that everybody understands what their different roles and responsibilities are.